Alrighty, so I'm pretty late to this. I would have liked to have went over it earlier. I was going to go over it earlier, but I had some stuff that I had to do today, and I kind of got pulled away from it. So this is going to be coming out in the morning for me because I already don't have a video for Saturday. But yeah, we're going to go over the dev notes really quickly. They did a lot of sort of information from the polls that they put out, like the surveys and everything like that. We're going to probably skip over those infographics. They are pretty interesting to look at. I've already looked at some of them, but I'll leave the actual link to the dev note post in general down in the description if you guys want to look at that kind of stuff, or if you just want to read over this in general on your own time. But yeah, I'm going to skip that kind of stuff because I've been talking a lot today and I just really don't want to talk much more. So this is going to be a doozy. So to all the knights who love the Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, this is Project Director Ku. Are you enjoying the Holy Night Festival, or Holy War Festival? It is through your valued concerns and continuous support that 7DS stays in operation to this day. We would like to take this time to thank you, knights, for all your love, despite the issues you continue to point out to us. The war laid it on thick on them, I guess. This dev note will share the survey results from the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross Worldwide User Survey. Our updated plans will be guided in part from these results, and we vow to continue our development of the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross with our knights for our journey ahead. The survey was given to all knights from around the world to bring closer attention to our issues and better understand the difficulties the knights were facing in detail. Before we begin, we would like to show our gratitude for your patience in the long wait for the survey results. We put our best effort into reviewing all the answers in various languages from over 70,000 knights, which caused us to take more time than we expected. Also, we would like to thank every knight again who participated in the survey for voicing your concerns and suggestions. First of all, we would like to introduce the details about the survey participants. Most knights were either fans of the 7 Deadly Sins or at least familiar with the original manga or anime. Most knights also enjoyed the story, PvP, and hero strengthening aspects of the game the most. So they did a couple of infographics going over, what was, who voted for what kind of, or the results for each poll kind of. So, second, we would like to take the time to summarize the knights' opinions and suggestions regarding improvements. There were three main categories of improvements, which were growth and upgrades, playable content, and rewards and shops. So, regarding growth and upgrades, many knights have expressed concerns about the difficulties of growth and upgrades. There are also many improvement suggestions regarding leveling up collaboration heroes, ultimate moves, and super awakening. It was frequently pointed out how unfair it was to not be able to obtain certain heroes from the past and in turn be unable to fully utilize ultimate moves and level them up. This part is due to the nature of collaborations, releasing heroes in a fixed schedule under contract. Currently, we are discussing with each IP holder so that knights who haven't acquired existing collaboration heroes may see these collaboration heroes return in the future. So this is obviously a pretty big one. I know a lot of the newer players and stuff like that that have kind of joined the game recently or have not been able to participate in some of the collaborations and such because of, obviously like the two collaborations that just happened. There is so much going on in the game right now with all of the festivals and everything like that coming out that you may have ended up just skipping some of the collaborations and stuff like that in general. And I wouldn't blame you in the slightest because there's just a lot going on. So they apparently they are trying to get in touch with all of the IPs and stuff like that they have done originally. I would assume that means like the slime collab or the slime people who they partnered with for the collab, the King of Fighters collab, Attack on Titan, all of those like older ones that haven't been around for a while. It seems like they're going to try to contact them and see what they can do about maybe bringing those banners back out or, whatever the case may be, which is pretty good because honestly, if they bring those kind of banners and stuff like that back, anybody who's already summoned on them and are not really looking to upgrade their characters, or if they've already done so, it's basically just a free skip banner for them. And then newer players can obviously summon for characters that they weren't around for originally, which is a really good thing. Obviously, even when the Attack on Titan collab first came out, people were pointing out that it said maybe back in the future or whatever the wording on it was, and people were excited that there was potential for it to come back. It didn't feel forced that you had to summon on it or whatever. But obviously, Attack on Titan is a huge IP, and people really like that one, so pretty much everybody summoned on it. So the fact that it's coming back in the future, very cool. Honestly, very nice. We asked for your understanding of the difficulties of providing an exact time of this implementation due to many factors stemming from contractual obligations. We will be sure to inform you through another dev note as soon as we have more details. So that's also very good. Knights also pointed to difficulties in performing Super Awakenings. To erase the burden on the growth materials related to Super Awakenings, more ways of acquiring said materials will be available in new and continuous events starting from July. So, this is really nice, honestly, because my biggest problem with it is the Super Awakening coin dungeon sucks. It's awful. It's so RNG based, and it's just it's a huge time crunch. You can only do it 12 times for some reason in that in that time period, and it's just such a hassle, and it's so annoying to go through, and it's just not fun. Honestly, it's so boring and so tedious, and you have to reset if you don't get the right amount of coins, so that way you can really utilize how your runs go. It's just, the way it's designed is terrible. I honestly hope they redesigned it at some point, but the fact that they're saying that they're going to add more materials to newer upcoming events and stuff like that is very good. Obviously, it might alleviate the fact that you may not even have to worry about running the Super Awakening coin dungeon in general, which is great, because honestly, it's bad, in my opinion. Supplies for costumes, enhancement materials, and equipment engraving materials will also be adjusted by increasing the number of locations of which they can drop from. Future updates will also feature events with higher drop rates to further ease the burden. So obviously this is great. Honestly, the biggest one for me personally is equipment engraving materials, so the engraving stones and stuff like that. It would just be nice to make UR sets for additional heroes, or whatever the case may be. It's just engraving UR engravings on gear is so essential in geared PvP at this point in time, where the meta's at, or where the game has sort of progressed to. There's so much that goes into a character, and not having engraving materials and stuff like that to get UR gear for a character kind of does hold you back, because you get a pretty big CC boost and boost in performance from that character by upgrading their equipment to UR. So that's pretty good. A lot of talking. Regarding player content, or playable content, there was a wide variety of opinions on improving playable content by Knights, allowing us to share some of your key suggestions. Knights were naturally keen for more content from the main story. We acknowledge that many appreciate the story of the Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, and we also received positive feedback on the production of how the story is presented in the game. Therefore, we are continuing to improve the quality of the story. We are currently aiming to provide a new story chapter every month, so that's really good. Obviously, if they come out with a new story chapter every month, that's a free 30 diamonds from completing each chapter or whatever, because once you complete a chapter, the chapter before it becomes completely done, and you get 30 gems for that. Plus, you get a pretty decent amount of rewards just for going through the story chapters and stuff like that. So nobody can really complain about getting free stuff from the story chapters. They're honestly pretty fun. There are certain missions that are really, really tedious and maybe not the greatest balanced, but so far they've been pretty few and far between. There are certain points in the story that are notorious for being overly hard, but for the most part, I think the story is pretty good. We also received suggestions on additional battle content based on the original source material from the Seven Deadly Sins. At the moment, we are preparing to provide regular cooperative event type content based on key events from the original story. Our goal is to provide this content within the third quarter of this year. So this one I was pretty excited about, because cooperative event type content to me sounds like new raid bosses where you invite somebody to help you fight something, or even for example, the Purr and Poo raid that we have going on right now, where you have 4 players that sort of compete for high scores to fight a demon. I think that kind of content is super fun. I think it's really great for the community to sort of come together and farm materials and stuff like that together. I do like those events. I think that they're really interesting. So the fact that they're saying that they're going to try to make more of that kind of stuff, and it should be out later this year, is a good thing. Obviously, any new content is great. So it's looking like this dev note in general just seems like it's got a lot of valuable information. They obviously took into account a lot of feedback from the players, and they're going to try to start implementing that stuff in the next couple of months, which is great because it should help the game sort of trend in a positive motion, because obviously there's been a lot of back and forth between the community as of the last couple of months on whether or not the game is doing well. So I think this should help a lot. Many suggestions also requested expanded knighthood competition content to prove one's strength and among top tier knights. Currently, we look to maintain our existing knighthood competition while also providing a continuous regular knighthood competition to be determined, which will be a 1v1 battle, one knighthood against one knighthood, for those who apply to participate. A raid type cooperative battle content is also under preparation and should arrive after the new original story update. So this is really huge. They say that it's after the new original story update. If you are unaware, they just announced the whole Ragnarok thing. I did a video on that last night. If you want to go check that out, feel free to. But they're saying it should come out around the same time, which is great. This whole a raid type cooperative battle content is also under preparation. To me, sounds like it could be some sort of fun mechanic where like your knighthood sort of like bands together to fight, you know, a specific boss and like whittle its health down and get like materials and stuff like that in regards to how well you do against it or whatever. I think that kind of content would be super fun. Honestly, I feel like knighthoods in general just don't have too much going for them at the moment. Like Knighthood Wars is really cool, but it's not available to all of the knighthoods. And knighthood boss in general does have pretty decent rewards, but I think something that could actually bring your knights or like your actual guild together to sort of accomplish a goal would be really fun and interesting. So I do think that that would be really, really cool. There were many ideas posed to us that are not currently listed here. We will continue to review more ideas and suggestions for improvement from our knights and reflect upon them for our development direction going forward. So there's obviously, I'm sure they went through a ton of information. People are very vocal about the game, so I'm sure that they're trying to improve as much as possible, because honestly, like, the game has just been in a really weird spot, and if they can just take all of this, you know, feedback and kind of push it into the right channels and make things better for the game in general, it's gonna be so good, because the game is fantastic, but it just needs good direction. Regarding rewards and shops, the following feedback is based on opinions about rewards and shop compositions. First and foremost, the most vocal suggestion of all, the login reward will be revised. You will receive newly revised login rewards in addition to the current rewards. After all current login rewards have been received, only new login rewards will remain. We aim to provide this improvement after July. So this is pretty big. Obviously, I've heard it a lot. People are really like unhappy with how the current login rewards are, and I completely agree with them. The login rewards right now, it's like 50,000 gold, which is absolutely useless. You get a couple of diamonds, which is nice, but if they could up that a little bit, because the game is very demanding nowadays, and you kind of do need more diamonds to kind of, you know, just function in the game. If they up that a bit, I think it would be great. And then at the moment, I think the other rewards are like a human ticket, a race draw 1 ticket, a race draw 2 ticket, and then a part 1 ticket. So I honestly think the human ticket is the most worthless ticket there is. It's a 1% chance to get an SSR off of that ticket. I think if they at least gave you 5 of those, so that way you could do a full multi, or if they just scrapped that and gave you something better in general, that would be great. The race draw 1 ticket and the race draw 2 ticket are okay, but honestly, just getting one of those really isn't that good. I think they should up that to at least 5, so that way you can do a full like multis worth, because the tickets are the most you can do a multi with, and the tickets is 5 at a time. So I think if they gave you a full multis worth, that would be great, because I mean, it's not like you're guaranteed to get anything anyway. And I mean, some of the characters on those banners are pretty nice to have. Some of them are definitely outdated, and you're not going to be guaranteed to get anything good from it regardless. But, you know, just having that chance to pull characters and stuff like that is always good. And then the Part 1 ticket is so outdated. There's nothing good on the Part 1 ticket really anymore. The only thing that I would even think that people might need at this point is maybe Demon Hendrickson's, and that's just because he's the newest character on that banner, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely they need to either update that to a Part 2 ticket, or if they eventually make a Part 3 banner, we need to start getting Part 3 tickets or something like that. Obviously, they'll probably wait before they make those like a regular reward. So I would imagine upgrading that to a Part 2 ticket from a Part 1 ticket would be probably ideal. The fact that we're getting it later on in July, or maybe after July is what they kind of say, so maybe August, isn't too far away, so I think that's a good thing. It's coming pretty decently soon. We also received many suggestions on expanding the use of the hero coins and improving the coin shop. We plan to renew purchasable items in the coin shop with regular discounts and add more event type items to increase coin usage efficiency. A coin dungeon system to obtain growth materials by using hero coins is planned to be added in the near future. I don't know exactly what they mean by this, but I'm sure it'll be something kind of interesting, hopefully kind of cool. I don't really know what they mean by a coin dungeon system to obtain growth materials. Just nothing really comes to mind when I read that. But honestly, the coin shop was one of the biggest things that made me like the game in general when I first started playing it. But after the Super Awakening update, it made the coin shop so much less useful, because really the only thing you're using, like nowadays, the only thing people are really using the coin shop for is to buy stamina pots with the silver coins, and then all of your gold coins and platinum coins basically just go to Super Awakening unless you just don't have one of the coin shop units. So I think that they need to make the coin shop more useful to kind of give you that option, which if they're going to give out more Super Awakening coins, like they said in the previous section, hopefully, you know, being able to buy something useful in the coin shop would be a nice way to go. It has also noted that the rewards for the Fight Festival ranking match and knighthood competitions rewards don't match the amount of time and effort required in these contents. We are planning to add a symbolic achievement reward along with increasing the quantity of existing rewards to provide better satisfaction for these two contents. So this was a huge thing that people were talking about just recently, and I'm sure people have been complaining about it for a while, is that the Fight Festival is pretty bad. The shop itself doesn't have a whole lot of good stuff in it, and the stuff that it does have is very limited, and you have to put in so much time and effort into geared PvP to even really be able to like get good stuff out of that shop. So the fact that they're finally going to revise this is really much needed. It hasn't really changed since the game came out 2 years ago, so it obviously is time for an upgrade there. So this is something that a lot of players have been asking for, so that's great that they're addressing that. Event items from the collection events will also be managed separately for better item storage efficiency, and the drop rate of the event items will be more balanced so that you can better enjoy the relevant content. This is actually kind of cool because although it's not like the greatest, like it's not the biggest change or anything like that by any means, I do appreciate the fact that they're going to put it in its own sort of storage, because I always think it's kind of weird that you can like accumulate a whole bunch of like, say it's like Purring Poo invites or whatever, the like little invitations or whatever. You know, if I don't play Purring Poo for a while and I've got like 2 stacks of those and I'm like running out of storage space and I'm not planning on using those tickets because maybe I've already maxed out the exchange shop for it or whatever, I've got everything that I need from it, I would much rather sell those like useless tickets that I'm not going to use anyway. And most of the time while the event's going on, you can't get rid of that kind of stuff. So if they're going to push it into its own separate sort of storage area, like in your inventory, that's not going to count against your other stuff, I think that's kind of a nice change. Thank you for reading our long explanation. Though we couldn't answer all of your suggestions from over 70,000 knights worldwide, we would use this opportunity to not only take note of your feedback, but also do our best to further reflect upon them in our journey. We will apply suggestion-based improvements in our upcoming updates in order to inform you through our dev notes prior to said updates. Lastly, for all our knights who have been enjoying the game with us, we want to share some special news and gifts to show our appreciation. We believe that many knights have been wondering about the meaning behind our teaser and countdown starting from July 2nd. As mentioned before, we plan to release our very own exclusive original series, which the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross has been preparing for a long time. On June 4th, 8 p.m. PDT, all of our official YouTube channels and official English Facebook page will live stream the world premiere of this original series. We hope that many knights will watch and look forward to it. Lastly, by the way, if you haven't seen this, like I said earlier, I just finished a live stream for it just like an hour ago. It was honestly super, super cool. I definitely recommend you go look at the video where I summarize the whole thing if you haven't already, or if you just don't know what it is, because honestly, it looks like some really cool new stuff is coming to the game in the next coming months, and I think it's going to be a really fun time. So, lastly, to all of our knights who read through our long dev note, we would like to provide you with some tokens of gratitude. Grand Cross was first introduced to the world as our journey began in Korea and Japan on June 4th, 2019. To celebrate, we have officially prepared gifts, not limited to the knights in Korea and Japan, but to everyone throughout the global servers as well. On June 4th, 2 a.m. PDT, all knights who log in will receive the following items in their inbox. I actually made a video about this earlier. They're basically giving out everybody 60 diamonds, 10 awakening, 2 super awakening coins, a full awakening token, and then a bunch of limit break materials and stuff like that, which is really nice. You just check into your inbox and everything like that, and they should be in your mail. And then it says, again, we thank all the knights for their love and support, and we hope to see you again at the Ragnarok world premiere tomorrow. Thank you. So, obviously, there was a lot of information in that. A lot of it seems really, really positive. There's a whole lot of cool stuff that should be coming in the upcoming updates and in the future. It seems like they're honestly taking a lot of this feedback and doing a lot of good stuff with it. I think the game is definitely moving in a good direction right now. So hopefully it helps to kind of take the load off of a lot of the people who have been very skeptical about the game or even negative about the game as of recently. So honestly, the only other thing that they need to do is absolutely destroy the user version of the forums, because it is the most toxic thing I've ever seen. So that is basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the dev notes video. I tried to keep it as short as possible, but there's a lot of information in here. I probably could have just summarized it and everything like that, but I always like to read through the whole thing because it's a cool time seeing what the devs have to say about the game. So I like the game a lot. I want to see what they have to say. Anyways, that is basically it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you guys in the next video.